Hello and welcome to Talking About Cross Stitch with me. I'm Karen the Stitching Owl and I'm so happy that you had a moment to spend with me today. I know that your time is precious and that there are many floss tubes that can entertain and show you many things. So thank you. If you have already subscribed, I'm so grateful for having you as part of my community. And if you're here for the first few times, I hope you would consider subscribing. I'm getting pretty close to 1,500 subscribers, and I would love to celebrate that with you. Speaking of celebrations, today is actually my 50th regular floss tube. Yes, there's been some extras, etc., but this is number 50. Now, last time we were together, I was talking about my Flossiversary, and I'm going to tell you that I will be back in just 1 week for my next video so that we can celebrate that on next Sunday, which is very close to the actual day that I recorded my very first video. So we're going to wait for that one. I'm going to keep you in suspense. I'm also going to keep you in suspense with a few of my projects that I'm not going to show today. I'm going to save them for next week because at this point, I ended up focusing my energies more on specific stitches this particular 2-week session than on trying to get 5 to 8 in every day. And as such, I have a number of finishes for the hashtag finish July and August that Charlie has started. So that was my focus this week. Now I don't have very many fully finished items. That will hopefully occur this week as well. So I normally start with my talk about the temperature. I'm going to delay that one by a week. With fully finished items, I have 2 things that are fully finished. And the first one I'm going to show a picture of. It is the last Prairie Santa that Mary at my stitching group had given me to finish. So she has all, I think it was 5 of them back, and they are ready to either showcase in her own house or gift to those who she would like to share with. My other fully finished item is a teeny tiny fully finished. Back in 2024, I joined the Sunshine Stitchers in their A Dozen Quakers by Rosewood Manor, and they had a Bake Me a Quaker Sal going for the year. And instead of doing the entire project as they were doing it, I took each of the Quakers and made them into individual ornaments. Well, the other day, as I was clearing a few things up in my sewing area, I found a random Quaker, so I fully finished it. So you can see that this is one where I added some beads to the actual design to highlight around here, and then I beaded around the outside just for a little bit of pizzazz. So this is ready to just be enclosed in a card and sent off as a send a smile because these just seem to work in that situation quite nicely. And I forgot to bring over the chair that I just pop everything into. We will start tossing. So that is all of my fully finished items. Now, today I'm going to tell you that I'm not quite doing my preparation in the same way. I'm trying to figure out how I can do this so that what I do 1 week can carry on to the next week just a little bit easier. So let's see how this goes today without the 6 pages of typing. So on we go with the finished items. So the Noel sampler, which I'll show you what it looks like as a full sampler, is a Satsuma Street design. It has 22 DMC colors and 14,070 stitches. It's 158 by 158, and when you looked at that pattern, you can see that it is a sampler in that there's many boxes, all focused on one category, Christmas, but each of those boxes can be stitched separately. So of course, that's what I'm doing. Now I'm on a 35 count floba, and at this point, I have completed one of the boxes, the Christmas tree box, and I'm doing this pretty much with the Satsuma Street colors. Her colors are distinctive and not typical for Christmas. Like, these are actually different variations of blues, but I really like it. So I'm going to just try, yes, I know, you heard me. I'm going to try and follow the directions and use the called for colors. Doesn't happen often here. Now I have also started the second one. This is going to be a bell, and that's a little bit of the decoration on the belling out of the bell. Yes. So at the present time, I have 968 stitches done. And if I'm doing the whole thing, that's 6.88%. Now, in the magazine monthly cross-stitch challenge group on Facebook, the July theme was bundle up. And so I was saying that in Canada, we have to bundle up by Christmas because it is truly winter. And this past year, we had quite a bit of snow. And I like the fact that this particular sampler, I'm calling it Christmas, but our other national language is French, and this is the Noel sampler, so Noel is French for Christmas. So I will continue to have fun with my Satsuma Street. So that was one finish. The next finish I'm going to show you is a petite finish by my daughter. She's in the middle of a fairly sizable dimensions, well, sizable for her, and was like, I think I need a break from this. So I gave her a Tiny Modernist, just a leaflet that had book lovers motifs. And so she did this bookmark. So I will zip that into an actual bookmark for her so that she can gift it to one of her reading friends. So that didn't take her many days to do, and it just, when you're studying for exams, it's nice to have something that's just an easy stitch, not a, good grief, they want 4 threads to go through here and it's an 18 count. My next finish is part of my WhipGo, so I'm going to show you the WhipGo. So this is what my WhipGo looks like. The yellow shows what is fully finished. An X means it started. A star shape means it started and finished. And for me, WhipGo is a success as long as I start. It would be nice to finish and fully finish everything. We will see. So this month, one of the pulls was Luminous Fiber Arts. Now I'm behind on some of my starts. I don't have the Kitten and the Pumpkin started quite yet, but I will. What I did was I combined Luminous Fiber Arts with Christmas in July, because I actually found one of my patterns. I found my working copy for the bird trio, Christmas bird trio, Chickadee. And I'm just going to put it in close so that you can see that I do have my white snowflakes. It's just a very cute stitch. I have no idea where this pattern went in my computer. I literally just found some of the patterns in my working pattern pile from previous to getting into Pattern Keeper as heavily as I am. So I'm happy with that, and I will make that into a round ornament. My next finish is one of my finishes that goes with the Canada Swaps 3, where the theme is seasons. So this is a bell jar by Tiny Modernist, and it is spring. It is completed on a 32 count even weave that I don't know what it is because it was just an end that I located. Now these bell jars, a Kiwi and an Aussie go traveling, are having an anagram using the month that we are in this year. So July, jar for J. My next finish is Bienvenue by Laureen Meyer. This has 3 DMC colors in the original pattern, but I chose to go monochrome. My pattern is adjusted slightly from what she handed me free at Stitch North in Brampton. She had a year, so I took out the year, I reworked the ends. This is a 35 count floba. It is 78 by 59 and 1,777 stitches. This was my birthday start, and I actually finished it in my birthday month. I think this is absolutely lovely, and I'm looking forward to finishing it. I'm trying to figure out if there is a way to make it look like a flag versus an ornament for next July 1st. So very, very pleased, and Laureen, thank you ever so much for providing that pattern to me. And next, I have my Going Coastal. I have a finish here. This is by Love Poppet Designs. It's got 13 DMC colors. I'm using 1 strand on a 40 count Verdal, hand dyed by Rolanda. Didn't that turn out really well? I'm so pleased. Those waves were so much fun. Now this is 85 by 85 and 3,316 stitches in total. And in July, it is the L for Love Poppet. And in the magazine monthlies, it is the L for Woolies. So that was my second Love Poppet design start and finish. And I am definitely looking forward to doing more from that designer. And I have even one more finish. Yes, and I didn't count these before I started, but this is quite a few actually. So just sticking with a project for an entire afternoon instead of till like 150 stitches really did get things done. So my final finish is Boreal Bounty by Pigeon Coop Designs. It has 6 DMC colors. I'm using 1 strand of DMC on a 20 count Zweigart Ada. I think it's an ecru. It doesn't appear to be completely white. If you look at diameters, this is 79 by 79 with 4,017 total stitches. This is the hashtag Pigeon Coop book that was started by Helen D. And I stitched it with Connie, Mary, and Melanie. So it will be another round finish. So there are my finishes. Now, before I go on, I'm going to do what I've been doing lately. and saying, I am referring to a number of people repetitively by first name. So I'm going to tell you what they are and show you their names on cards so that you can refer to them in my description box and check out their videos as well. For ease, I put them in alphabetical order. So Kim at Contented Needleworker Kim. Lisa at Forest City Stitching. Katie, Jeremiah's mom. Mary of Mary's Stitching Corner. Kenzie of Mudpuppy Stitchery. Amy of Renewing Stitches. Lee of Stick Strings and Other Things. Laura of Stitching by the Shore. Charlie of Stitching with Charlie. Everybody's favorite, Andrew the Runner Stitcher. Karen the Twitchy Stitcher. And Melanie and Michael of Uplift Stitches. So you will hear me refer to them periodically, and I do stitch with them online as often as time and schedules allow. I'm going to take a moment to say I'm announcing that my next Canada Chats is August the 17th. I am in the Eastern time zone and it would be 2 until 4. And my next general online stitch-in will be August the 5th from 1:30 to 3:30 Eastern time. So for both of these, I'm not going to be searching out people and inviting them by email. I will ask you to use the email that is in the description box below to reach out to me, and then I will use that to send you a Google Meet link. I don't just post a Zoom randomly for us to not know how many people are joining in. We had a lovely group of about 9 people the last time, and it worked beautifully. So I met a couple of new people. I hope to meet at least one new person this time. Okay, that takes us into WHIPs. Wow, I'm to WHIPs at 18 minutes. Deborah, aren't you proud of me? Yay! Okay, so the little cat is a Crocette a Gogo pattern, and it is part of the July WhipGo that last time I hadn't started either of them. I did finish my Luminous fiber arts, and this is how far I got the little cat. He does not look like a cat yet, but if you use your imagination, these are his paws where you have the tiny slippers showing. This is his tummy, and right in here is where I am going to be stitching a fish. Now this is a tangerine 32 count Lugana, and on 32 count Lugana I use sulky 12 weight thread, a 1 strand. So when I do that, clearly everything is my own conversion, and it literally is what do I have that's close or that sort of pleases me. So I'm hoping that he's recognizable as a cat next time. But Jessie Marie has pulled the numbers for next time. They are number 12, which for me is Owl Forest Embroidery. I'm really excited about that because I've got a lot of patterns to choose from because there's a lot of them in the freebie area. And number 15 is Twin Peaks Primitives. And the last time they had a 50% off in their Etsy store, I grabbed a book that had a bunch of smalls in it. So I am looking forward to just having a gander through that and picking one of them out to show you. So I'm looking forward to August and the WhipGo stitching. I still have one hangover from June, which you'll see in a little bit, and one hangover from July with regards to finishing, but I do consider it a win that I have kept up with starting everything. And on my WhipGo, I really do have a bingo or a WhipGo going across. And with number 12 and 15, there isn't a new one, but I do have the potential for one in September, depending on what number is called. I know Jessie Marie Does Stuff was saying on her short announcement, wow, we have gotten farther into the year before number 13 is called. So 13 is that 25th box. And so some people have that as a free, but I filled it in. So that means the month that 13 is called, I will have 3 ornaments to do. I'm actually kind of happy that that didn't happen this month. I'd like to get some more things going forward before I have 3 to do. And next, yes, my next is Nativity Tiny Town. There will be a small sound of a zipper going along under my voice. This is Nativity Tiny Town. And this is one of the smalls that go with it. They have created a second one that is the Shepherds that I'm looking forward to locating. I forgot to look for it the last time I was at my stitch group. Now, last time I was at my stitch group, I did manage to purchase the Halloween Just Cross Stitch, and I'm looking forward to using it in the next month as well. There's so many things I want to do. I'm like Katie, I want to stitch all the things and I want to do them all every day, and wow, we can't. So how far did I get the Nativity Town? Well, I'm going to tell you that this is by Heart and Hand, and I am doing it on a 32 count Lagana called Turbulence. This is the Lagana, so it's a little bit like the nighttime. Very small amount of modeling is showing in general, and when I turn it around, this is how far I got. Now, overall, this is going to be 176 by 30 with 3,267 stitches. As of today, I've got 1,154 stitches for 35.3%. I was aiming for 1,000 stitches and then realized you were going to just get the backside of a camel, and I was like, no. Let's not stop there. Now, I don't know whether it shows very well that that's like a rooster. I'm sitting here going, it almost looks like somebody in a circular floaty. But that's a rooster. I haven't got his beak on yet, and I haven't quite finished the gold here. Up here is going to be the angel with the gold trumpet, so when that gold trumpet, that color comes out, then I'll put in those 2 elements and then do the trumpet. Now I'm on 32 count again, so that means this is sulky thread. Now in this case, I am not using variegated thread. There are times that I want to use variegated thread when I'm doing houses because those stripes can actually mimic the look of brickwork. I'm not sure they'd use bricks in today's sense of the word bricks in Bethlehem all those years ago. So I went with my solids, and certainly I am stitching this with Sarah of Sew Me Sarah, and it's also part of the hashtag Nativity Sal. So Sarah herself had said, you know, if you're using the charted colors, you might want to brighten them up. And I think it was really easy for me to do that with my sulky threads because I think things are standing out very nicely. And I have quite a wide array of colors to pick from, so I'm not going to run out. I'm going to do a shout out at this point. My shout out is going to be for the Harpy Stitcher, who has around 41 videos. She is doing a year of 50 starts, which is hashtag 50 for 50. She has reached 200 subscribers, and I would think that she would love it if a few more came over to check her out. She is a teacher, and within the Hogwarts group, let's say that again. Within the Hogwarts group, she is in the Hufflepuffs. So that's the Harpy Stitcher. Now, my next work in progress, this is part of my June WhipGo. We started it like the 24th of June because that's when the PDF became available. You could get the print copy, I believe it might have been released at Nashville. And so I'm going to put a picture up of what the Strawberry Goose Witch looks like. It's a pattern by Fine Frog Stitching. It's got 22 DMC colors and will ultimately be 74 by 106. It has 4,619 stitches, and I am doing this on a 25 count even weave that is an azure metallic, and as such I'm going to be using this for the I Spy Something That Sparkles that Laura has on the list. Now you can see that I got all of the witch's hat in, although with it being pink, it doesn't look too witchy. It looks very cute. And then right here, you've got a bit of the wing coming into play. Now, I have stitched so far 1,054 stitches for 22.82%. I am stitching this with Laura and Mary and Karen. I don't think there's anybody else, but please comment below if you have started it and I didn't mention you. You do not need to be a Flosstuber in order to be mentioned with who I'm stitching with. And for Laura, this is under the hashtag I never thought I'd stitch a goose. So I really like the details that Fine Frog Stitching has put in. Like under the hat, the brim has a shadow just over the eye, and with just 2 colors of orange, you can see the beak has definition without having some backstitch in there. So, I mean, really, I'm very pleased with the pattern. It's easy to follow. Went into Pattern Keeper easily. So I will look up more patterns by Fine Frog Stitching. And in Woolies, the S is strawberry, S for strawberry, Goose Witch. And the next thing I am stitching with Lee, we decided that we wanted to tackle another year in the woods, year 1. Year 2 already has some beautiful patterns out. I have purchased the Wolf and the Sugar Glider, and yes, I can't remember what the sneak peek of number 3 was, but wow, I thought it was nice too. I don't tend to just carte blanche say automatically charge this and send me the pattern, because there were a couple of the patterns in year one that I did not purchase. So I'm just purchasing them one by one. So we are doing the reindeer because the 12th month, the reindeer was in the month of Christmas. And of course, Santa has reindeers. So I'm stitching on a 36 count even weave hand dyed by Rolanda. This piece has 11 DMC colors and I am just using the DMC. And like all of these, it will ultimately end at 100 by 130. I still have a headless deer. I always want to say headless horseman, but there isn't a man here. So I had these last week, so I extended. I have the hind, more of the neck, so I'll be able to finish these legs and hopefully get a face in. Now, I would love for you to go see Lee because she is actually much farther than me and has the head and the antlers in, and it's looking gorgeous. Gentle reminder that there is an errata that you can look up on Cottage Garden Samplings because there is a mischarted single symbol in the antlers. I have stitched 2,127 stitches for 37.89%. And okay. Oh, for my an Aussie and a Kiwi go traveling for July, the Y would be Year in the Woods. I'm going to do another shout out. This one is Threads and Tails with Sarah. One video, brand new, but she's also on Instagram and has been for a while. There she's known as Sarah Does All the Things. She's a stitcher from Colorado who was taught how to stitch by her grandmother, just like me, had a break, just like me, came back in 2012. She does have 47 whips and about 80 patterns that she wants to get to anytime. She does love retreats and creating a sense of community within the stitching people. So, Threads and Tails with Sarah. I'm kind of liking just doing this with the cards versus the typed out stuff. Yeah. Okay. My next work in progress is Strawberries and Swallowtails, and as such, it can be the S in Woolies for sure. Now, this is a Mudpuppy Stitchery. I'm stitching on 36 count even weave, again hand dyed by Rolanda. There are 17 DMC colors, and it will end up being about 150 by 200. It has a total of 11,028 stitches, and at the present time, I have 5,351 done for 48.5%. So you can see that all of this wing was popped in this week, well, this past 2 weeks, and that I've started on the other wing. I've really been enjoying stitching this bird. And it does work very well for stitching online with my friends because up here at least, I can just pull out 3 colors and stitch for the entire 2 or 3 hours. So this will be a model for Kenzie that I will send her when it's finished. I'm going to save the other Mudpuppy for the next time we are together in 1 week. And for that one, I said it was also the W in Woolies because it was a very white bird. So I thought W for white would work very nicely. A shout out for A Nurse and Her Needle. I just was like, oh, that's the perfect name for a Flosstuber who's a nurse. I mean, really. So she's got one video, and it is a whip parade. I really loved how clear of a speaker she was, and that even though it was #1, she had all the details for her project so beautifully in place, and she's already not afraid to personalize a pattern. So, you know, that works with Kim and I very nicely. And actually, I'd say there's a fair amount of people in my circle that are changing things up, whether it is the color of the fabric or the actual colors of the floss. And now we are getting to the full coverage area. So I have 3 to show you today. And yes, the butterflies are back. So Dureen Jones Butterfly and in Flowers Purple Emperor has come back. And I did finish all of this flower, and then start on this wing. So I am stitching on a 20 count white Aida with 1 strand of DMC, but my black is CXC because CXC is a little bit fluffier and is better coverage when you're trying to make something like a stained glass window have the black look really black. This is the hashtag Stitch All the Butterflies, and I'm doing it with Laura and Mary and Amy and Karen D and Rachel Q and probably more of you. At least I hope that more of you started looking at these mini full coverages. Now you can see this is originally a square, but I've taken off the sides. At the top, my bottom will have the corners. At the present time, I have stitched 8,773 stitches for 44.76%. And I have not blacked out the colors yet. When I do that, I'm going to be hopping over 50% easily. In Woolies, this is for the O because butterflies fly over the ground. So O for over. So I'm just going to hold that closer. I really think that this is very lovely. And it really does feel good when I bring it out. I can usually get about 300 stitches in each time. So that time, this past 2 weeks, I brought it out 1 time each week. And so it was about 600 stitches added. Oh, things are getting mucked up as to where I'm putting what. There we go. Mini Rainbow Dragon #3. Now I'm going to tell you that the original artwork and the AI designing is by T. Clark for Artecy. This is for my hashtag Whip Into Shape. That is, of course, for Andrew and his preparation for the marathon. We are certainly all keeping our fingers and toes crossed that Andrew's legs are feeling better and that he's able to resume his training. And if not, maybe hop in a swim pool so that he's still moving, but has no pressure on the area that is injured. So look at those eyes. I'm just going to hold it in close. I'm on a 25 count pewter even weaves with one strand of called for DMC. There are 87 colors in this mini, but because I made this so small, it's actually starting to look three-dimensional, isn't it? Now I'm stitching this for Linda's grandson. Last time that we were together, I was wishing Linda well because she'd had shoulder surgery, and I'm happy to say Linda has popped in to our stitching sessions. She cannot stitch yet, but she was able to pop in and see how far I have gotten and is very pleased with this. So let's see. In totality, there will be 26,600 stitches, and today you are looking at 19,714 for 74.11%. My personal hope was that I would be able to have it to 75% for July 31st. So the fact that today's the 27th and I'm at 74% means I think that I'm going to get there, and that bodes well for finishing this whole thing while Andrew is running on August 31st. Just going to hold it up close one more time. I'm so excited about this. And I'm so pleased. As you know, when I make things, I really make them to give them away. And I know people are shocked at how many things I've given away, but I am so pleased to be able to do this for Linda so that she can give it to her grandson. It's just been a joy to stitch. And for me, even though I have goals of finishing, I am a process stitcher. I just love the process of stitching. I just happen to also like the finishing it up. My last shout out for the day is Ducks and Crosses. Now Bethany has one video again. It's a whip parade, and she's from across the pond. Now, here's the special piece of information. She is the daughter-in-law of Cross Stitch Sarah. So Sarah has taught her how to stitch, invited her to come join her on a video or so, and then Bethany decided, yep, that was fun, I'm going to do it myself. She is a lover of turtles and Harry Potter and has lovely stitches. So I hope you'll give her a try, because she comes by being a Flosstuber, honestly, doesn't she? And that brings me to my final work in progress. Okay, this is actually working quite well for the timing. Yay. So my last one is By the Shore. Artwork by Kaplan Dorr, Stitches So Beautiful charting, 20 count white Aida. The final count will be 440 by 375. It does have 100 DMC colors and 164,994 stitches in total. And here is where I am today. Okay, let's see if I can hold it back. So what are you looking at? Well, this gold tree got a lot of attention. So if I pull it in, you'll see that this really developed over the last 2 weeks, and that even though I hadn't legitimately gotten it solid all the way here, I started to sketch in some of the parts of the larger cabin that is the cabin on the shore. So there's a whole bunch of different colors of gold and green hidden in there. So I do have the bits of the trunk that go up here to still fit in. And every so often when I was like, oh boy, tired of doing gold, I would come down here and you'll notice that this is all solid. This has been made solid, and I started to extend out the water a bit. And when I hold this back like this, you can actually see that these are two dogs nose to nose and they're wagging their tails at each other. When I was stitching it, I was sort of looked at, we talk about two-headed dogs, but this was the other end. I was getting two-tailed dogs. I am so pleased with this stitch. Right now I am at 118,477 for 71.81%. So far this month I've added about 8,000 stitches, so it's lower than normal. And in woolies it's the second O because this picture is outside. Did you go to the Midsummer Stitch? So I did, and I did have a lot of fun. And one thing became very, very clear that, and I knew this to be true before, but within this, I would visit different stitching tables. I loved the international table. Hello to all my friends there. But I also visited the early bird table, and I can't remember the table name of the one that I dropped in and went, Katie, it's you. And that's kind of, when I see somebody I know and I just pop in, I'm so excited. And one of the things that I just like to say to those of you who are not doing floss tubes, sometimes when you're watching us, you are assuming that absolutely every floss tuber is totally outgoing and easily talks to groups of people. And the answer to that is no, not always. There are some floss tubers that are quite hesitant to go into a room with, they aren't sure how many people right there. And truth be told, the reason that they're happy doing floss tubes is they're by themselves in their own room. One of the things that happened while I was in the room with Katie is, of course, people are popping in and out. And one floss tuber that I watch is Dace, D-A-C-E. I'll put him in the description box below. And I have commented on his videos before. When he popped in, of course, I went, oh, it's Dace. And I was so excited. And I think I may have been anywhere from surprised to overwhelming to shocking when I went, oh, it's Dace, when I said that. Because Dace is one of those gentle people who was enjoying himself, but not necessarily as outgoing as me. So Dace, if you're watching this, I'm sorry if I overwhelmed you. I connected with Dace in part because earlier this year, and it might have been in the winter, I think it was in the winter, he was talking about how important his grandmother was to him, and he had recently lost her. And his stories just touched my heart because my grandmother taught me how to cross stitch. And as such, I want to let you know that I do watch him regularly as well. So should you join in on my general chats, I often have my friends that you see on those cards at the beginning, they pop in as well, just to augment the numbers and have some stitching fun. And even there, you will find that some of them will not be as chatty as others. So just letting you know that we all have our own personalities, and as you're looking for floss tubers that fit you, understand that how we present is not everything. And I'm going to segue that into something. On one of the recent Flosstuber chatting times, I was chatting with Lee. Lee in the last 6 months has undergone an operation for cancer as well as treatment, and we are all praying that that's the end of it all for her. And she was commenting to me that in acknowledging her challenge, there was people that were able to reach out to her and say, thank you, I don't feel quite so alone. I do not normally talk about my health challenges. So I'm going to briefly let you know and invite anybody who needs a connection to not hesitate to reach out to me, because I'm perfectly happy to do like a one-on-one Google Meet with you if you want to chat about the challenges that you're experiencing, or just need to sit quietly and stitch with somebody because that day you're not feeling well, but you want company. In my life, they knew by 2 weeks old that I had some sort of issue. They just didn't know what it was. And back in the time where I was born, which was of course the Stone Age, they didn't understand the value of breastfeeding, and as such I was given formula with them not knowing they were feeding me something I was allergic to. That set me up to have anaphylaxis with a number of different items through my life, and indeed I had more than one doctor suggest that maybe I would not have a long life. I'm happy to have proven them wrong. So I definitely had advanced asthma, and it got to the point that it was 20th century syndrome when they didn't realize that I was actually a full celiac. Once I got all of the grains out of my system except for corn, my asthma has settled down significantly. And one of the challenges that I experienced was, in order to manage my breathing, which I was breathing with 1/3 less oxygen than the average person, I was on prednisone for 14 years without a break, which means that this body has been everything from 88 pounds to 204 pounds. So yes, indeed, I've seen quite a change, and I'm delighted that that is all under control. If anybody is experiencing asthma problems with either themselves or their child and are curious about what the program was I was on that actually really led to me being better, that combined with being diagnosed with celiac really was huge. I do have an impaired immune system, and my immune system attacked my thyroid, so I have Hashimoto's thyroiditis. And it is true that people with Hashimoto's tend to also be celiac, so ta-da. But they didn't know that when I was diagnosed. And the challenge that I have right now is a chronic pain syndrome. When people say they have migraine, a lot of others out there go, oh, you get headaches. So there are different kinds of migraines, and like there's classic migraine, which can come with an aura, may or may not, can be triggered by things like caffeine, aged cheese, all sorts of things like that, or in my case, triggered by weather changes. So classic migraine is a thing, and with that, you can be okay 1 minute and not the next minute. So making plans to do things can be tricky. There is also chronic daily migraine. And yes, I do have that. I do have a migraine every day. And I'm on a new medication for that one, which is quite expensive, but we want to give it a go and see. And then there is also vestibular migraine, which comes from the neck area and often includes dizziness and just impairs how your brain talks to the rest of your body. When I say dizziness, it's not always whoop whoop or whoop whoop the way people think as is dizziness. For me, it was just that I did not know where my feet were or my hands. I actually had about 6 months where I couldn't play the piano. I couldn't play the piano because my brain didn't know where my hands were. And when I walk outside, I walk with walking poles most of the time in order to safely know where the ground is. Because as I get tired, it gets harder. So I have the challenge of 3 different kinds of migraines, all mixed together, which means like the last 2 weeks, I felt like I was in slow motion. I wasn't really feeling great. And when I do my stitching online with my friends, they are the medicine with only positive side effects. And so I want to thank my friends. And I do want to say to you, if you are experiencing a chronic health challenge and need a friend, I am here. And I probably won't talk about this much in the future. I just wanted to let you know, in case Lee was right, that maybe somebody needed to hear that other people have their challenge. I choose every morning to get up and say that I'm thankful I can walk and I can talk, I can hear and I can see, and that I have friends and I've got my stitching and I've got my music. I have challenges, but I have more things to be thankful for, and that is why I purposely present in the way that I do, with happiness and cheer in my floss tubes, because I intend them to be that happy place for me so they can be a happy place for you as well. Speaking of happy places, I decided for my moment of music today, I wanted to play a piece that just makes me very happy, both to play and to teach. It is an intermediate piece. It is not an advanced piece. It is a sonatina in C by Kula. I will put all of the opus numbers below in case you want to find it for yourself or for your child. I just find that this is my Oh Squirrel piece, where every time you turn around, there's a new direction, there's energy. Yes, sometimes the squirrel slows down in a melodic section to bury a few, in Canada, maple keys, because we keep getting new maple trees, or acorns or whatnot. But in general, it's a helter-skelter piece that is just happy the way squirrels are. So here is my sonatina in C by Kula. I hope you enjoyed my squirrely presentation. Thank you so much for joining me today. I know your time is precious, and I thank you also for the emails, for the online interaction, and for all of the comments. I don't think you understand how important those comments are to me. They truly are a pick-me-up in a moment that might not be comfortable. So, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for being you. You are important, and you are perfectly you as you are. I do hope that as you watched today, you had needle, floss, and fabric in hand, and that as you stitched something beautiful, you made yourself happy. Goodbye for now, and I'll see you in 1 week's time for my Flossiversary. Bye-bye.